I'm Debbie with Transform Powered Yoga. I'm so glad you're here with us today. I wanted to talk a little bit about mindfulness. And mindfulness can be all kinds of things in its less pure sense. It's sometimes just expressed as a hedonistic way to enjoy things, to think about a wonderful flavor of something you're eating, or if you're in a beautiful place. And it can be misinterpreted to be focusing only on things that are good. Mindfulness, though, is really being open to everything you're experiencing and to recognize it as an experience that deserves to be paid attention to. Our natural response to an experience is often to label it as either something we like or something we don't like. The technical term for that is hedonic tone. So what it means is, does something come across as pleasant, such as a sound of music, or something unpleasant? And an example being the smell of a dirty diaper. And if we avoid those unpleasant things, in the short run it might feel right, but that dirty diaper is hurting a baby's bottom. Or there may be something else pleasant that we really need to deal with. And so avoidance doesn't help us in the long run. It doesn't help us be the people we want to be. I was very good at avoidance in some things. In my martial arts practice, I got very good at avoiding the sense of pain. We were always told to try harder, to train constantly, to ignore this feeling, to not hurt, to keep going. And I taught myself not to listen to my body. So my body started feeling not so good, but I didn't know it until I started slowing down and saying, ouch, something hurts. And instead of not paying attention to it and saying, I can push through it, I said, I need to listen to what my body's telling me and be tender and gentle. I may still have to do something even though it hurts, but I need to feel it. I need to know that it's happening. I need to be aware and not practice being unaware. It's a little hard sometimes. In our yin practice we kind of invite that sense of awareness as something that's maybe not unpleasant, but just maybe a little uncomfortable. And that's a great way to start practicing mindfulness, to feel something uncomfortable and allow it to be itself, even with liking or not liking, but to practice and create that stronger awareness of paying attention to the whole world. John Kabat-Zinn wrote about paying attention, and I wanted to just share with you a few things about what he said. He writes, we often don't see what is right in front of our eyes, or even hear sounds that are carried to us through the air and are clearly entering our ears. The same can be said for our other senses as well. Perhaps you've noticed it in yourself. It is easy to eat without tasting, miss the fragrance of the moist earth after a rain, even touch others without knowing the feelings we are transmitting. In fact, we refer to all these ever so common instances of missing what is here to be sensed, whether they involve our eyes, our ears, or our other senses, as examples of being out of touch. We use touch as a metaphor for relating through all the senses because, in fact, we are literally touched by the world through all our senses, through our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and also through our mind. For for all that, we tend to be specialists in being out of touch a great deal of the time, and out of touch with just how out of touch we are. If we examine this phenomena by simply observing our interior and exterior lives from time to time, it soon becomes quite apparent just how much of the time we are out of touch. We are out of touch with our feelings and perceptions, with our impulses and our emotions, with our thoughts, with what we are saying, and even with our bodies. This is mostly due to being perpetually preoccupied, lost in our minds, absorbed in our thoughts, obsessed with the past or the future, consumed with our plans and our desires, diverted by our need to be entertained, driven by our expectations, fears, or cravings of the moment, however unconscious and habitual all this may be. And therefore, we are amazingly out of touch in some way or other with the present moment, the moment that is actually presenting itself to us right now. It's not limited to not seeing things that are right in front of us, or not hearing what is clearly coming to our ears, or missing out on the world of fragrance and taste and touch, because we are so preoccupied and distracted. How many times have you unwittingly and improbably walked into the door you were opening, or inadvertently banged your hand or elbow on something, or dropped something you didn't know you were carrying because in the moment you weren't actually all there? And so we're momentarily out of touch, even with the spatial and temporal orientation of the body, which normally we have covered without too much specific attention. And so mindfulness is really about being in touch with noticing all the things that are happening. Right now, perhaps you can feel the sense of your feet connected to the ground or your seat. And those sensations are always with you, even when you're preoccupied with something else, when you're busy. There's a lot that we filter out when we're not present to this moment. And back to that hedonic tone. Sometimes the most important things we need to pay attention to are things that are unpleasant. It could be a sense of anxiety, that we're worried about something. It could be our body telling us something's not quite right. It could even be a gesture of a friend which seems not quite the way it ought to be. But we have to notice. There's also so many opportunities to take delight in the things we rush by. The expression "stop to smell the roses" is a great example of really being mindful of smell, of color, of the touch of a rose petal. Even perhaps the sound of a flower opening if you're quiet enough to notice. Perhaps if they're not already closed, or perhaps just gaze down. Notice your body in space. Notice all the sounds around you. What you might normally filter out. See how much you can hear. Just as a concert is created from from so many different instruments. Concerts being presented to you. If we listen to it that way. Notice in your body all the sensations that are here. Feeling of clothes on your skin. Connection of your body to whatever you're resting on. Maybe the feel of hair or glasses on your face. If your hands are together, notice the feeling of touch to touch. Universe of sensations here all the time when we're ready to open our awareness to it. There's so many things we can listen to and learn. In stillness. Sensations of warmth or coolness in the throat, the chest expansion, maybe belly moves. Countless moments within a single breath. Out your arms to stretch. Notice how that feels. Realize that all you have to do is notice. Notice what you notice. Begin to notice what you're not noticing. And invite that in. Knowing there are so many things we can learn by all these little things. Stillness, in quietness, in awareness. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back next week. And I wish you blessings and peace and mindfulness of everything